She sat curled up against the brick wall just outside the entrance of Ray's Grocery on Maple Avenue. Her knees pulled tightly to her chest, her arms wrapped around them like a frail kind of armor. Her hoodie, once white, now stained and damp, clung to her as the early winter drizzle settled on her shoulders. People passed her without a second glance, pushing shopping carts full of turkey, pie crusts, and green beans. It was 3 days before Thanksgiving. Her face was turned toward the sidewalk, trying to hide the tears that slid silently down her cheeks. But they kept coming, those stubborn, aching tears that wouldn't stop no matter how hard she bit her lip or stared at the ground. She hadn't meant to cry in public, but her chest felt like it was cracking open. Her name was Emily, and just 2 weeks ago, she still had a job and a little apartment over the laundromat on 12th. She even had a cat, Mr. Buttons, who liked to sleep beside her as the heater hissed. But the diner she worked at closed down with no warning. Rent piled up fast, and when she couldn't pay, she got a notice on the door. Then a lock. Then nothing. She had nowhere to go. Her phone was dead. The last friend she tried to call let it ring until voicemail. She had walked 3 miles in the drizzle to get to this grocery store, not because she needed food, but because she didn't know where else to sit. When Gary dropped her off at the community shelter that night, he handed her a little card with his wife's name on it, Eleanor's Closet. It was a free clothing pantry she had helped set up before she passed. "Tell them Gary sent you. They'll take care of you." Emily tried to say thank you, but her voice broke. Instead, she hugged him fiercely, like she was afraid to let go. Over the next few days, things didn't magically become perfect, but they became possible. Eleanor's Closet gave her a warm coat and boots. The shelter connected her with a caseworker. She signed up for job counseling, and within 2 weeks, she had a part-time position at a nearby bakery. Her hands still trembled sometimes when she counted change, but every morning she tied on her apron with pride. One Friday evening, just after closing, Emily stood behind the counter wiping it down when Gary walked in. "Hey," he said with a smile, "I was hoping I'd find you here." Emily's face lit up. "You found me." He walked up and handed her a paper bag, same kind he had that first day. "Just some cinnamon rolls. Thought you could use a sweet end to the week." Emily took the bag with careful hands. Then she did something she hadn't done in weeks. She laughed. "You're the reason I'm here," she said softly. Gary shrugged. "Nah, I just struck a match. You did the rest." As Gary walked out into the fading light, Emily leaned against the counter and looked out at the street. The same sidewalk where she once cried now held a different memory. She turned to the other girl on shift, a college student named Tasha, who was scrubbing the espresso machine. "Hey," Emily said, "if someone ever comes in and they look like they need help, let me know, okay? I want to be that person now." Tasha smiled. "You already are." If this story moved you, please like, share, and subscribe to The Kind Story for more true emotional stories. This story is a work of fiction or dramatized for entertainment purposes. While it may be inspired by real human emotions and events, all characters, names, and situations are either entirely fictional or modified for storytelling. This content fully complies with YouTube's community guidelines and is intended to inspire, not mislead. A woman exiting the store bumped her bag against Emily's knee and muttered something about loitering. Emily didn't respond. She just pulled her hood tighter and wiped her face on her sleeve. That's when the voice came. "Hey, you okay?" It was warm, steady, not rushed, not judging, just human. Emily looked up slowly. A man about her father's age, maybe in his 50s, stood there with a paper bag in his arms and a knit cap pulled down to his eyebrows. His eyes were kind, the kind that don't flinch when they see sadness. "You need something? A ride? Food?" Emily blinked, startled by the sincerity in his tone. "I'm fine," she whispered, her voice barely audible. The man knelt down beside her, lowering the grocery bag gently to the sidewalk. "You don't look fine. You look like someone who could use a warm cup of coffee and maybe someone to talk to. My name's Gary. I'm not trying to pry. Just sometimes we all need a little help." Emily's lips quivered. "I haven't eaten since yesterday." Gary didn't say anything right away. He reached into the bag and pulled out a wrapped turkey sandwich. "Here," he said. "You'll need something warm too. Let's head to that diner across the street. My treat." Emily hesitated. Her stomach screamed yes, but her pride screamed no. Still, her legs moved before her mouth could object. Inside the small diner, the warmth wrapped around her like a soft blanket. The smell of bacon and coffee and old syrup made her stomach groan. Gary waved to a waitress who clearly knew him. "2 coffees," he said, handing her a 20. "And a hot meal for the lady." Emily watched as the waitress nodded, no questions asked. "You don't have to do this," she said. "I know," Gary replied, "but I want to." They sat for almost an hour. Emily spoke little, but Gary never pressured her. He told her about his late wife, how she used to volunteer at the shelter downtown, how she always carried gift cards in her purse just in case she met someone in need. "She said kindness is like a match," he murmured, stirring his coffee. "You strike it in the dark, and suddenly it's not so scary anymore." Emily didn't say much, but she felt something loosen inside her. Maybe it was the food, or the warmth, or maybe just being seen. If you believe kindness can change lives, please like this video and subscribe to The Kind Story.